lovely autumn morning, only just into autumn, but this is late September. It's a beautiful day. I'm here at Sherwood Heath today. I'm on the trail of two very elusive Phyllonorycter leaf mines. Both species are apparently on the Nottinghamshire list, but got no actual physical record of each species occurrence. Don't know where, when or by whom. So I'm hoping to rectify that. I've never seen either species, looked for both, never found them before. One likes this stuff, which I don't like handling. I love to see it in flower, but I don't like handling it because this is Gauze, Ulex europaeus, and the larva of Phyllonorycter ulysses mines the stems. Apparently it's a very difficult mine to see. The other species which I'm on the lookout for, hopefully I might find that today, is Phyllonorycter scopariella. That mines the stems of broom, and that's altogether a more delicate plant, which suits my little hands. So without further ado, we'll have a look, see if we can find both these two elusive moths. Although they're on the NOTS list, these may well be the first documented records, provided you can find them, or even one of them. Now this is the first gorse that I've come to look at and examine for leaf mines, the very difficult leaf mines to spot, of Phyllonorycter ulysses. This is Ulex europaeus, the European gorse. This is the one that you see pretty much everywhere in Nottinghamshire and elsewhere throughout the UK, but there is western gorse as well. And on approach, near the top of this gorse, which at its very highest is nearly 2 meters, probably not quite 2 meters high, but I noticed on these sort of bluish unicolorous stems of European gorse, I noticed some paler areas, or paler strips that ran a couple of inches up the stem. And then I noticed this one here. You see how, if I put my hand at the back of this, you see how this small side shoot, part of it is green and part of it is almost a light yellow green, and that is the leaf mine of Phyllonorycter ulysses. They are quite easy to spot. Once you can get used to the colour of this stem, they are quite easy to see, and there's several mines on here, but this is probably the most distinctive, and it's on a small side shoot, as you can see. So I'm quite pleased with that, because I've basically walked up and this is a new species to Sherwood, and just underneath the camera is another older mine which I'll show you now. And here's another one that is difficult to catch in the right light without it being overexposed, but it's on this stem here. It stretches from about there to there, and you can see how paler that is compared to the rest of the stem. The larva, of course, is just under the surface there. That makes about half a dozen mines that I've found on here. Some books give the mine as being in these side shoots, like this one, these small side shoots, but there are other websites that suggest that further down the stems you can find the mines, and they are certainly easy, but always on green growth, not on this older woodier growth like that, or further down the stem. So there we are, you can see that mine quite easily now. Now, I didn't expect to find this so easily. I've looked for this species, I looked for it many times, and it's always proved, well, impossible to find. But maybe I've just not been looking right. It's one of those cases that once you get your eye in and see something, you'll start and see it everywhere. But this is a very distinctive mine. It's much more distinctive than what I thought, and a lot of books say that this mine is rarely found. But this is another species that you can look for during the winter months. You can keep your hobby going. Now, I know of no Nottinghamshire records for this, but it is on the Nottinghamshire list, so someone's had it at some time. And so is another species that I want to look for, and that's on Broome, and that's another Phyllonorycter. But I'm extremely pleased and chuffed with this. Now, just in case you're sat there wondering, well, I can't see, nope, what's he going on about? Well, I've took this one off, this section, but if I just hide this a minute and you look at the top part, you can see that's the colour, your typical colour of your stem of gorse, and of course the very sharp needles. And what you're looking for is that, which is very obvious. It's surprisingly obvious. It is relatively easy to see. Now, this is a species that many people probably wouldn't dream about. It's almost like looking for the veritable gorse needle on a gorse bush, so to speak. But don't be put off. I'm going to start and have a walk around and see how many other mines I can find across the site here. Flushed with success. Well, success, at least in terms of one species. Despite a great deal of searching on this stuff, gorse, I was unable to locate any other mines. But certainly there were plenty of mines on that one particular plant, but they aren't the easiest of mines. They're not obvious really, but at least it's here. We've got an official record, at least for the county now. No sign of Phyllonorycters scapariella, which is the other species that I was hoping to get here, but there's only one patch of very old broom here, so not ideal at all. I need to find somewhere else more suitable where there's young broom plants to try and look for scapariella. But at least we've had success with one species, great success, a first for the Sherwood Forest NNR. So it looks like there'll be another video as I try and find the leaf mines of Phyllonorycters scapariella. I'm hoping that's not going to be too difficult, but can't always be lucky and drop on something straight away. Where's the fun in that if you continually do it? When I moved from Sherwood Heath, I thought, while I was on my way home, it's not too much out of my way, I'll have a look at this area here. This is Warsop Main Pit Top. This is a quiet area. It's now pretty much cut off from the rest of the pit top, but it's always held quite a lot of broom in various stages of age and disarray. There's some nice young developing plants of broom, but also some older plants as well. And I have managed to locate so far 2 leaf mines of the other Phyllonorycter I've been after, and that's Phyllonorycter scapariella. And it's here. It's fairly obvious mine if I can try and keep my great arms from shading it. And it's along here. There may well be 2 mines here, but It runs from down here and right down here. Fairly easy to spot, but the trouble is with broom, you often get sort of dead ends to broom and various other marks. There's one or two weevils which will feed and sort of graze on here and almost produce like a scratch like that as they feed. So you have to learn to sort of differentiate between what are leaf mines like this and what are feeding signs of weevils. But this is one of two that I've found. I'll drop some photos in because unfortunately they're quite long mines, so they're not the easiest things to photograph and get all in one shot, and at least close enough so that you can see it. But it is here. Our first record of Phyllonorycter scopariella. Marvellous.